Hey guys, it's me again. I know it's been a while, but I actually wanted to really get back into making videos. I know I've been saying that I was going to for a while now, but I'm actually taking the time and I'm actually sitting down and doing it. With that being said, today I'd actually like to talk about moving on. There, for me, there's a few key essentials in moving on. Moving on. One would be accepting what's happened, and we'll talk about that in a second. Another thing that's essential in moving on, believe it or not, would be forgiving, because without forgiveness, you just hold a grudge for the rest of your life, and that's not really letting go, is it? And that brings us to the third one, which is letting go. And basically, once you can let go, you can move on. So they all kind of coordinate, and they all kind of mesh in together. So the first one, accepting what happened. Basically, to me, when I had to accept what happened to me, when I had to accept that I was molested, it took a long time. It took a lot of writing. I don't know how many times I've sat and written my story down just so I could read it to myself over and over again, and I could actually face it, because that's essentially what accepting what has happened is facing the situation in in the hardest way, and that's in your mind. Because initially, the shock of what happened to you, yeah, that sucks, but everyone knows that in your head it gets so much worse. So when you can actually sit down and write about it, and if you can't talk to anyone else about it, I know it sounds crazy, but talk to yourself about it. I mean, whatever helps you realize that what has happened is done and over with is what you need to do to start getting better. So, I just want to let you guys know that, if you feel that you can't even talk to yourself about it, send me an anonymous message. Just write your story down, send it to me in a message, and I'll reply back to you, and that might give you some sort of closure. That might help a little bit. On to our second step. What it means to move on is, if you sit and dwell in what's happened to you, if you sit and just think about it in all the negative ways, I mean, that's not really moving on. Yeah, you can accept that it's happened, but if you just continue to dwell in it, that's not gonna help you. Your acceptance might as well mean nothing. What it means to move on is actually find things in life that you can actually replace those thoughts with. Whether it be a new hobby, whether it be music, anything you can relate to, another person, a best friend, something, anything that can get your mind from thinking about your experience to, feeling better about yourself. I know it's hard to find those things, but, start small. Find a song that you can actually relate to. There are songs out there. Write a poem about, what you've been through that, that doesn't necessarily make you a victim of what you've been through, but actually kind of encourages you to be strong about what you've dealt with, and kind of pushes you in the right direction. Hell, make a video, do what I'm doing. You don't have to make it for anybody but yourself, but play it back to yourself and realize, hey, this is where I'm coming, and this is where I'm going. Here's where I am now, but I'm moving on. That's an essential element. After you've reached acceptance, moving on is the next option. That's the only thing you can do if you want, to get better. Lastly, letting go. Letting go is insanely hard, because one, what you've been through will always be with you. It'll always be a part of you. It makes you who you are today. It makes me who I am today. If I hadn't went through what I've been through, I wouldn't be sitting here, giving you guys advice on how I got through things. So, another reason letting go is so hard is because you will have flashbacks, you will have dreams, you will have nightmares, and sometimes it'll just get to you. It'll get you down. And that's when you really need to focus on the other two pillars of letting go of what's happened. Really focus on your acceptance and really focus on your moving on. Those are two steps that are going to help you get through letting go. Because letting go is what you need to do to really conquer, your experience. I'm almost there. I've almost completely let it go. I've been able to, sit down and tell myself, this is what happened to me. This is where I'm going. And the hardest part was forgiving the person. I know a lot of you will say, no, I can never forgive them for what they've done to me. But you know what? If you can't forgive them, then you can't let go. That's just the simple truth. Because if you're holding a grudge, then you're constantly thinking about it. And thinking about it doesn't mean you're moving on. That means you're dwelling in the past. I know that forgiveness is hard because, forgiveness takes trust. But find it in yourself to forgive the person for their actions. Forgive the person for their choices. You don't have to, there's nothing about forgiveness that says you have to remain friends with that person. You have to, even like the person. But just forgiving them for what they've done to you because they made a mistake, a huge mistake, a critical mistake that, is not acceptable in any way. But still being able to say, I forgive you not for your benefit, but I forgive you for my benefit. That is just monumental in letting go. Because once you can, once you can look yourself in the face, in a mirror or in your reflection and just be like, you know what? I forgive that person for what they've done to me. You're just going to feel this tremendous weight just lift off your shoulders, and it's just wonderful. Because then it's like, you know what? No matter what happens, I know that I can deal with this. It's not going to weigh me down anymore. I'm going to be able to handle it. So, with those things said, this is going to be the conclusion of, of the video. I hope it's been informal to you guys. I hope it's helped you guys out a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Feel free to send me a message at, aspy268@yahoo.com. That's my personal email, and I'll reply to all of the messages as soon as I can. You can hit me up on the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/screamforthesilent, or you can even send me an anonymous message on my Tumblr page, which is brandondavid04.tumblr.com. I do talk to a lot of people about Scream for the Silent through that, so whatever method you find works best for you, feel free. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you greatly, and I hope that I'm helping.